In January each year, this small village is transformed as thousands of monks, nuns, and lay pilgrims gather for the annual World Peace Ceremony. Under the spreading limbs of the great Pippala tree, at the very site where the Buddha attained enlightenment 2,500 years ago, they chant prayers together for world peace. Here, among the ancient monuments, the pilgrims and the practitioners renew the roots of their culture. They honor the teachings of wisdom and compassion that have made Tibet an inspiration for the whole world. This is the tradition that the Tibetan Aid Project is working to support.
They came
from Tolpo, and it's very far away. Tolpo is near in Tibet and Nepal border, and they came all the way from there to Bodh Gaya, Nyingma. She came from Tibet. Jegu, they call Gawa, far away from Lhasa. She came from her village to Lhasa by bus, and Lhasa to Kathmandu, Nepal by bus, and Kathmandu to Bodh Gaya, all the way she came bus.
This celebration was begun in 1989 under the guidance and sponsorship of Tarthang Tulku, also known as Tarthang Rinpoche, founder of the Tibetan Aid Project. From a modest beginning of several hundred attendees, the event has steadily grown. Today, more than 15,000 people come. They travel by foot, by ox cart, by bus, by train, from all parts of India and Nepal, from throughout the Himalayas, even from Tibet. They gather to pray, to study, to reunite, and to see and support the great teachers that embody the teachings. They come to open their hearts to the blessings of this place.
She doesn't have so much money, so she borrowed one of the family 10,000 yen, Chinese money. She doesn't know how to pay back money. She feels she should give some yaks and some horses. I asked her, you have no money, why you borrow money, why you came here? Now she is 60-year-old, and she thought one time she should come this Bodh Gaya place because there's a lot of monks, nuns, lamas, very important place. Before she died, she feels she should come one time here. Then she will be very happy.
In Tibetan Buddhism, the transmission of teachings directly from master to student is central. A rich collection of written teachings has been developed over 2 millennia to aid in this transmission. These precious texts represent a body of enlightened knowledge accumulated over centuries of dedicated practice and realization. Among Tibetans today, the written texts of their tradition are revered as sources of wisdom and hope for the future. But the texts are hard to come by. Since 1959, the destruction of temples and monasteries in Tibet has resulted in the loss of many great libraries, as well as disruption of the precious lineage transmission from teacher to disciple. Copies of important texts were carried out by escaping refugees, but they remain rare and inaccessible. Tarthang Rinpoche recognized the need to return these materials to the practitioners who are receiving the oral teachings directly from the last generation of lamas trained in Tibet. For the last 15 years, he and his students in California have been working to locate and reproduce traditional texts. These include the sutras, the words of the Buddha, the classical shastras, commentaries by great Indian masters, as well as commentaries from the Nyingma masters of Tibet. Each year, thousands of these precious texts are painstakingly printed on high-quality acid-free paper, wrapped, boxed, and shipped to India for distribution during the annual ceremonies. The Tibetan Aid Project supports the return of these texts to the people who can use them most.
It's very, very amazing. All these books, he never heard books coming from United States. West to east, book shipments is amazing.
Until 2004, books were distributed primarily to monasteries and study groups. At this year's ceremony, a very important collection central to all Mahayana Buddhist schools was produced, the Prajnaparamita. This collection fills 27 volumes and was distributed in 7 boxes. For the first time, complete sets of this great collection were made available to any group, family, or individual who registered for them.
So somebody told them message. This year, there's a text is very special, larger text, Prajnaparamita, 7 boxes, 27 volumes. Then he really thought, is it true or not? He wanted to see. And so they traveled all the way from Tulku to here.
Over 3,000 sets of the Prajnaparamita were handed out at the ceremony, part of a total distribution of over 200,000 books. Never before in history has this great set of works been made so widely available throughout the Himalayan region. The fortunate recipients loaded the books into every mode of conveyance imaginable. Most of the monasteries arrive at the ceremony with a plan in place to carry the books, a rented truck, or space on a bus. But for the individuals, the way home was often long and the money was often scarce. Such is the value of these texts that it seemed that no hardship was too much to overcome.
I asked them, is it how you carry the books? So he said, is it hard to carry, 7 boxes, 27 volumes for them 2 persons? It's very difficult. These days they have buses, but they don't take bus because it's kind of expensive. But it takes from Kathmandu to their village more than 1 month. They're going to carry more than 1 month. But even though very difficult, they say they will happy to give life in order to get this book. No matter what kind of circumstances, they will do it.
Over the years, this project has represented the single largest gift of books ever in human history, a total of 868,000 volumes distributed. The Tibetan Aid Project is honored to be part of this effort. Even now, back in Berkeley, volunteers are working to prepare the volumes to be sent for next year's ceremonies. Through the efforts of a handful of dedicated people and the generosity of thousands of well-wishers like you, we can have a global impact. Today, more than ever, the message of compassion and peace is essential. By supporting this great tradition, we provide hope that its wisdom may remain available, that all people may benefit.